YouTube. Today on the Naughty Librarian, we're doing something a little different. I myself am an Italian-American person, so I feel like every Italian-American person has their own marinara sauce recipe. So today, I figured I'd take you on a little tour of me making my own recipe for spaghetti and meatballs from scratch. So, water for pasta. You want to put a bunch of salt in it. I know this sounds counterintuitive because salt's not supposed to be good for you, but you want a bunch of salt because it actually makes it boil faster. And it's delicious. So while that's boiling, we're gonna work on sauce. Starting off, I use shallot instead of onion because I'm a fancy bitch and I like shallot better. So we're gonna cut off the tip and the little butt part. Get rid of those. And then you just make sure you get all this like brown skin off because no one wants to eat the brown parts. Okay. And I'm making a mess, but it's okay. We're living our lives. All right, so shallot. This is kind of like a medium-sized shallot. Usually they come in like 2 little pieces. The way I cut them that I think works best is going lengthwise first. Then you go widthwise, because I feel like it dices them better. And it's okay not to be too precise with this because they're all going to break apart when you put them in the pan because we are going to sweat these because it kind of releases the juices and you want those juices going on. And you just see any, ow, my eyes. The glasses, I thought they'd save me. Ah! And just overcome with joy. That's why I'm crying. So any pieces you see that maybe are too big, just kind of break them up. It's no big deal. We're not a very precise household right here. I'm just gonna go ahead. You want to set this kind of low, like medium-low heat with a splash of olive oil for flavor. Just a little bit because you don't want it to go bananas. You let that pan get hot. Later on I'm going to cook meatballs in it, so this is just going to add some extra flavor. These just go straight in your pan and you want that nice sizzle. And personally I kind of like wood. I think it's nicer. You just want these to simmer for a little bit. You want it to get like a little translucent, just to get the juices activated. It makes it taste delicious. See how they're getting like just like a little bit more clear? They're trying to change in color. That's exactly what you want them to do. But before they're all the way clear, you're gonna put in some minced garlic. I don't measure, so it's hard. Like that much garlic. You toss that in there too. Because don't put it in all at the same time because actually garlic cooks a lot faster than onion does. So you don't want to burn your garlic. You let that sweat for a hot second. Get this like all juicy. So those are starting to brown a bit. I'm just gonna put these in the sauce pot. The sauce pot is not on yet because I have not added any of my sauce ingredients besides this. But you do want to cook them a little bit before you put them in the sauce because the sauce isn't gonna cook them for you and you want those good flavors and those juices that you're not gonna get unless you give them a nice once over. So this water is almost boiling, but we have time to do a couple things. First thing we're gonna do is have a drink break. Next we gotta open up all these cans. I'm making a double batch of sauce. If you wanna do this, just take half of the amount. So personally, I like these San Marano crushed tomatoes, not whole or peeled or any of that stuff. Crushed. You want it crushed. Second main ingredient is tomato paste. So you want a big can of crushed tomatoes. How many ounces? 28 ounces of that. And 12 ounces of tomato paste. You can do it in like the little cans, and usually I just use 2 because those are 6 ounces, but they make them in 12 ounce sometimes. So I get this one. It's an Italian one. I like it. So now everything goes in the pot. Just dump it on in. So sauce 1, I really should have added more onion and more shallot and more garlic because I picked that out before I realized I was doing a double batch, so I might add some of that later. It's okay if you add some later too. Then the paste, usually you're gonna need a spatula to get it out of the little jar. And that bad boy. Then just give it a good mix because you want this all to be incorporated. You don't want giant ass chunks of paste in here. So let's just mix that on up first. I'm seeing some onions come up. I'm excited. So the key with sauce is you want to cook it low and slow. So you turn it on, you put it low, like medium low, just to get it heated up. Then we're gonna lower it even further. Okay, so this is boiling. Personally, I went with the Secco pasta because you can get it at most grocery stores, so I wanted to make this an easy recipe. Otherwise, I'm buying my bougie fancy imported noodles from Italy. But De Secco is a good grocery store pick because they have this like powdery stuff on the noodles. Just trust me, they're better. The flour is better in Italy. A fun fact as well, don't break your freaking noodles. Okay, Italian American time. It's obnoxious. Like, I've seen people like, oh, let's make pasta, and they break their noodles, and it's like I look at them different. I'll never look at you the same way again. You don't break your noodles. Short noodle, short life, okay? Also, hey, spaghetti and meatballs fact, did you know spaghetti and meatballs is not an Italian dish? Fun fact. There's spaghetti and then there's meatballs, but putting them together doesn't exist. It's not an Italian thing, it's an Italian American thing. So it's very much a new thing that was invented by Italians in America, so fun fact. Alright, so you just let that cook and you move them around every once in a while because you don't want your noodles to stick, because they will. That's just what noodles do. So I got my little noodly one thing. You just mix them up every few minutes and then you just let them kind of leave them alone. You don't want to over mess with them. Now's perfect time while that's cooking. Let's put some spices in this sauce because we don't want to just eat raw dog tomato sauce. So this is just regular garlic powder with parsley. As an Italian American person, we don't measure shit. And I don't measure anything. I just know how much to put in through experience and muscle memory, so I'm gonna try my best to tell you how much I'm putting in. Just kind of watch. So I'm going a healthy heaping gob of that. So I just do plain old Italian seasoning. It's pre-mixed, it's good, it's got all the things in it you're gonna want anyway. It's just quicker and easier in life. So I put like that much in. A little extra, why not? Little herbs, never did anybody no harm. Also, I use onion powder to give it that nice oniony taste without putting a boatload of onion in it. Be a little gentle with it because a little goes a long way. Particularly, I like crushed rosemary because it's smaller. Because you do want a nice rosemary taste to it, like that amount. I don't know how much that is. Just throw it in. Again with rosemary, let's put a little extra. A little goes a long way because it's a strong herb. And then of course regular old salt. And some pepper. And especially if you're using canned tomatoes, they have a tendency to get acidy. So if you put a little bit of sugar in it, it cuts that acid, it makes it dope. There's probably a scientific reason for that. But just add a little sprinkle of it, you're good to go. And since we're going crazy, let's add a little extra garlic. Why not? Blah. So now, let's just incorporate all of that stuff we threw in the pot until it's all mixed in. Also, something you can do if you're cooking, you can have a little bit for yourself, a little bit for everyone else, one for the homies. Just a little bit, because I don't really know the signs of whether or not that really cooks off or not. So there's not enough in there to get children drunk or anything, I don't think. Alright, so we're just gonna let that settle for a minute, let those seasonings seep in, and then taste test. And if you feel like you need more of some herb or another herb, add it in. It's kind of to taste. These noodles are coming along quite well. Here's a note. When you're cooking pasta, you want that pasta water because it's gonna have like little starches in it that are from the noodles that are delicious. It's gonna have that salt and starch. Save like a little bit of it. Like I don't know how much, like a quarter cup. You don't want like a whole lot, but you just want to throw a little bit in your sauce when the noodles are done. It like works. Just trust me. Needs more things. It needed more Italian seasonings. I feel like it needs a bit more herbs. I'm throwing a dash more sugar now because I feel like it's not getting less acidy as we go. And maybe just a dash more rosemary. Just like a sprinkle. Not too much. Okay. That's a little bit. I'll mix that in and see how it turns out. I also realized we should have pre-made our meatballs, but I was really excited to make this sauce, so we didn't do that. So I think when the noodles are done, they're al dente, I'll just let them sit because we are going to be reheating them in the sauce later, so they'll be fine. It's all good. When they are done, because I don't want to leave them and have them be like overdone. If you overcook your noodles, you're gonna have like slush. So when these are done, I think we'll make our meatballs. It's my sacrificial lamb noodle. Is it done? We'll find out. Nope. Realistically, I think, knowing the consistency of these, they're not quite done, but I'm gonna say 2 more minutes. I realize I should just time this, but like I don't. I just know what the noodles should look and like move like when they are al dente. Hello. It is time for meatballs. I realize I should have made these first. I messed up, but that's okay. So for my boyfriend right here, we have ground bison meat. And for me, I have Beyond Beef because I am a vegetarian, but vegetarian. That means I do use egg and dairy products. I'm not vegan, so there will be egg in this because that's how you make meatballs. In these, in meatballs, you need breadcrumbs, egg, cheese. We're going simple. The breadcrumbs in particular, I get these Italian style breadcrumbs because it comes with the seasonings in it. I'm just trying to make my life easier. My trick with eggs is that crack it into a cup because you don't want to get the bag egg in your meat because then your meat's ruined. Looks like a good egg. They don't always crack that well, so this one I'm going to say is a bad one because I got shell in it. Whoopsie. Okay. Take 2. That one is a good egg. Bam! All right. Most people measure this. I'm just going to eyeball it because it's how I cook. But I guess like half a cup of breadcrumbs would be all right. So I just kind of know in general how much that is. And then you can put some cheese in it for flavor. Oh, that much. And then you wash your hands, you just touch a bunch of stuff, and then you just wiggle them together and make balls with your fingers. You literally just get at it. You just, it's also the grossest part. It's just wiggling that stuff together. I guess you could use also a spatula, but I've always just done it fingers first. And actually this Beyond Meat is delicious. It is surprisingly meaty and the texture is good. So I recommend, especially maybe if you're just trying to cut back on beef products, try this Beyond Beef. You can get it in your regular meat section of the grocery store. Not sponsored. You get it all mixed up and incorporated, and you want that meat to feel sticky, because that's what's going to hold it in its little ball shapes. So my boyfriend doesn't mind a little bit of fake meat in his real meat. I'm going to make his and be thoroughly disgusted because meat is gross. Okay. Boo, gross. Meat is so gross. I hate it. I hate it so much. It's like not even like a different texture, and that's a problem. It's like a smell thing, and I know that this... Okay, I've been a vegetarian for a long time, for 12 years now, almost 13. So yeah, like I don't fuck with meat, yo. This is... I love you, Greg. Just so you know. Touched on this nasty ass bison. Whoa, gross. Okay. No. Meatwad. Oh, the meat and ball jokes never end. Oh gosh, why? One thing about real meat, it's a whole lot less sticky than fake meat. Fake meat was like super sticky. At least this is like, it wants nothing to do with me either. It comes right off my hands. So there's that. Oh, so gross. Another positive to going vegetarian and having fake meat is that technically you could eat it raw. You can't undercook it. I mean, it might not taste as good because it'll be undercooked, but you could eat it. Not with me. You gotta cook this shit. So I'm down to this part where I'm like, I could have 2 kind of big balls or 2 or 3 dainty balls, but since I did dainty balls before, I'm gonna go with some big balls. I swear I'm an adult. Okay, done. Yes. Okay. Time has come. Good sauce. Feeling good about it. I'm going to keep this on super low for a little bit more. And then if it starts to still be acidy, I might add just a pinch of sugar, but thinking this is good sauce. It's good stuff. We are going to make some meatballs. We should have made these earlier, but oh well. Just a little bit of olive oil in the pan for flavor. We're going to turn both those bad boys on. So pans are hot. You chuck these babies in the pan. Bam. It's good when you put them in the pan and they immediately sizzle. That's the sound you want. That's the good stuff. There's a giant ball. And a dainty ball. Another dainty ball. All right. So the game here is browning. So you just want to brown these. So you want to cook them approximately like 5 minutes. Just so everything's brown, it has like a good base, and then you're gonna throw some pasta sauce in there and let it just marinate and seep into the juices. So yeah, they've been in the pan for about a minute. Just kind of flip them, make sure they're getting brown, and they seem to be doing just that. Mine meat I'm not too concerned with because, like I said, I could technically eat it raw if I wanted, but I don't. But just making sure that they're cooking nicely and brown. You can see some of the herbs in there from the breadcrumbs, so knocking it out of the park here. These are the regular meatballs. This one you want to let it steam a bit because it's real meat and therefore food allergens or illnesses can happen more so than with mine. Mine don't need to be steamed because you really can't undercook them. But these ones you want to get more browning done before you mix them up because you can see at the bottoms are kind of getting that nice little brown color. You want to keep that going. So now that the brown is coming up around the edges, it is the perfect time to start flipping them. And just get like right in these bad boys. Ooh, do you see that brown? Yeah. Those are good meatballs. Fact about me is that I really have never cooked any of the meat I've never eaten any of the meat I've ever cooked. I'm surprisingly good at cooking meat. You can ask my boyfriend, Greg. Yeah, so I'm surprisingly good at cooking it. I've never tasted what I've cooked. But yeah, see that browning? That's gonna be that good stuff. I mean, meat is disgusting, but I do appreciate it when it's cooked nicely. So, put that bad boy back on. And these guys, I'm just gonna keep flipping about, just so they don't like overcook. But these ones are getting nice and brown. Nice and brown. It does take a little bit more to get that char that the regular meat does, so these can cook like a little bit longer too. That'll be fine. And then that poor meatball got lost. So that one is going to be a bat meatball. So we're going to be for Batman. I'll cook it again. And we're gonna, yeah, he's already smelling the food. These are looking actually pretty good. I would say maybe another 30 seconds, and then these could get some sauce treatment. Okay. So these are just about done. Mine are pretty much good to go. Let's get this ladle out. Yeah, that's some good sauce. Give it a quick stir. Make sure it's good to go. So basically, I've just been cooking it. This is at the very lowest I could get it. The very lowest temperature. So you want it low and slow. And that is some good sauce. So basically, just take about a ladle. You're just gonna... And make sure this is definitely all the way at low. Okay, so like a ladle and a half. And just mix it in. So now that they're on the lowest setting, because you don't want to overcook them, and they're covered in sauce, you just kind of let it simmer for a few minutes. I think no more than 5, because you are going to keep cooking it with the noodles. So just leave that be. So let's move on to these bad boys. Those are looking good. All right. So a good ladle. About a half. A bit more. Greg likes them saucy. Good? Alright. Yeah, so now we're just like mixing them all up. Greg likes his a bit more saucy than I like mine, but that's okay. And then, yeah, you just get them all sauced up and let them just simmer on their own for a little bit. This sauce is pretty much done. The noodles, I took out approximately 1 minute before they were al dente because they're going to keep cooking. But let's take your noodles, dump them right in the sauce. They did sit for a minute, but we'll break those up. It's going to be all good. Because you want those noodles to finish whatever cooking they still need to do in the sauce because they're just going to absorb it better. So you really want to like work it. Get it all up in there. Yeah, that's some good noodles. So even though we did this a little bit out of order when it could have been done a little cleaner, it's okay. It's all good. Okay, so I just let that cook together for like a couple minutes just while the meatballs were finishing cooking. And those noodles are al dente AF. And they have absorbed a bit of pasta sauce into them, into their internal structure. It's gonna be dope. So let's just get straight into plating. So you just get a big scoop of this bad boy, yeah. And you plop that bad boy right in. And I actually have not eaten today, so I'm gonna make a big ass bowl for me. Got my trusty spatula. You get a couple of these bad boys. You plop them on top. You grab your good old-fashioned Parmesan cheese. Bam, 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 bam. Ta-da! Alright, this is probably a very long video, but this is my meatballs, spaghetti and meatballs. It's my spaghetti and meatballs. So, it's actually fairly easy recipe to make. I think overall it's maybe like 30 minutes, so it is good to cook just on a weeknight. You can even pre-make the meatballs in your fridge, leave them alone. So, yeah, it's like 30 minutes or so. You can pre-make the meatballs, throw them in the pan. The sauce is what takes the longest because you do want to spend some time cooking the sauce. It tastes better. So, yeah, it's like a good weeknight meal or anytime meal. If you're getting ambitious, which I wasn't tonight, you get out the crock pot and you do an 8-hour sauce because that's, you call it a gravy. We're not going to get into all of the Italian Americanness, but spaghetti meatballs. There you guys go. That's how I make them at least, and they're pretty delicious. So I just want to go eat this now, so I'm going to stop talking. But anyway, let me know in a comment down below, what is your signature dish? What are you the best at cooking? Or hey, did you like this cooking video? Is there anything else you'd like to see me cook? Because I kind of cook a lot, so let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. And if you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you guys soon.